Sixth grade, welcome to science. We made it to the end of lesson one, and at the end of every chapter, we made it to the end of chapter one, not lesson one, end of chapter one. At the end of every chapter, there's usually an experiment that we will do a couple of them, and then there's usually on the next pages what they call math and science, and they give you different math skill. So you should have your science books open to page 18. I'm going to work through the examples on page 18 and show you how it works, and then we'll look at your assignment together. So I have your assignment on the screen. It's obviously two-sided, so make sure you have the side up that I have up. First of all, I'm going to start over on page 18 on how answering the question, how can you identify and classify organisms? Now guys, they're giving it to you on a very, very basic level here because they only gave you 4 bugs, and the 4 bugs are really easy. But like if you went online today and typed in leaf identification key, and then you could go outside, you could grab a leaf, and the leaf identification key will probably have about 100 different things on check yes or no to this, and then check yes or no to this. And as you work your way through it, then you'd try to be able to identify a tree based on answering all those questions. And obviously, if we were going to try to sort and classify 100 bugs, we would need a lot more questions. Because we're only classifying 4 bugs, we don't need that many questions. So I'm on the bottom of page 18, which is just going to show you how they do the bugs. So it says 1A. If the flight wings are protected by a hard covering, go to step 2. So I want you to look at the ladybug, and it says flight wings are protected. So I would bump down to number 2. Then I'd go to A. If the body is round shape, it's a ladybug. I'm done. Let's start over. We're looking at the dragonfly. The dragonfly flight wings are unprotected and the wings stick out from the body. So I start at 1A. If the flight wings are protected by a hard covering, go to step 2. Nope, that's not true. So I go to B. If the flight wings are not protected by a hard covering, go down to step 3. So I skip step 2 and I'm down to 3. If the wings stick out from the side of the body, it's a dragonfly. Got it identified. Back to the June beetle, 1A. They're protected, so I go to 2A. Its shape is round. Nope, it's not. Its shape is oblong, so I go to 2B. If the shape is oblong, it's a June beetle. Last but not least, horsefly, 1A. They're not protected, so I go to 1B. 1B says not protected, go to 3. I go to 3A. Wings stick out from the body. Nope, so I go to 3B. Wings point to the back end of the body. It's a horsefly. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on your worksheet, guys. So what you're looking at, and now you're on page 19. You have the watermelon, the apple, the orange, the lemon, and the banana. So I'm just going to work left to right. I'm thinking about the watermelon. It says shape is oval, skin is smooth, color is two-tone. I start at 1A. The skin is bumpy. Go to step 2. It's not bumpy. I go to 1B. The skin is smooth. Go to step 3. I now jump down to 3A. If the color is solid, go to step 4. Nope, the color's not solid. So I go to 3B. If the color is striped, yes it is. It is a, and I write the word watermelon next to 3B. Starting over, I'm thinking about an apple. On page 19, my book says an apple is round with smooth skin and a solid red color. So here I go. The skin is bumpy on 1A. Nope. 1B, the skin is smooth. To step 3. Yep. The color is solid. Yep. Down to number 4 now. The shape is long and narrow. No. The shape is round. Yes. It is an apple. So for 4B, I write the word apple. Next fruit, an orange. 1A, the skin is bumpy. Yes. Go to 2A. The fruit is round. Yes. It is an, and I write the word orange. Second to last, lemon. The skin is bumpy. Yes. Go to 2A. The fruit is round. No. The fruit is oval. Yes. It is a lemon. 2B, lemon. Last one. Banana. The skin is bumpy. No. 1B. The skin is smooth. Yes. Step 3. The color is solid. Yes. Step 4. 4A. It's long and narrow. Yes. 4A. It is a banana. So guys, they had 4 questions. It sorted the 5 fruit. Obviously, the more fruit out there, the more questions you need to have. All right, finishing up that page, it says the key lists one special characteristic for each fruit. How does this help you identify a fruit? Well, what they're getting at with that question, guys, is because there's one special characteristic, I could get to each fruit identified because of that special characteristic. So between shape, skin, and color, we were able to identify those fruits. Now think if they had put a picture of a cherry on there. Would the shape be round? Yes. Would the skin be smooth? Yes. Would the color be red? Yes. So they would have to come up with another question to ask, guys, because of it. So between those special characteristics, we were able to identify the 5 fruit that are there, and that's what they're getting at. We're constantly looking to say, what characteristic can we have that would identify the difference between an apple and a cherry? So number 1, how does this help you? Because of this characteristic, we were able to identify each fruit. Number 2, what other characteristics of fruits could be used as an identification key? You might think of seeds, strawberries, seeds on the outside, apples, seeds on the insides. You might think of smell. Certain fruits smell different ways. Would be 2 characteristics that just jumped into my head. Maybe you thought of a different one that you could think about too. They obviously gave you shape, what you look at. They gave you skin, which would be a feel thing. They gave you the color side of it. So you could do something with the texture of how hard or solid it is, you know, kind of things like that. You think about a pineapple with its spikes on the outside. All those things would be different things that you could look at. Okay, turn the page in your science book. You're on page 20 and 21. I'm just going to read an introduction and then we'll do the example on the next page. It says, have you ever seen an ungulate? You have probably seen many of them, even different kinds of ungulates. Ungulates are animals with toes that end in hooves. Among the ungulates, there are 2 orders, those that have an even number of toes and those that have an odd number of toes. The circle graph below shows the number of species within each family of odd-toed ungulates. And so guys, here's an example of a pie chart broken down by percentages. On page 21, they give you 3 questions. I'm not going to go through the 3 questions on page 21 because we get the same experience over here on your worksheet that's sitting on your screen right now. Okay, as we're working through history this week, you've watched your videos, we've learned how to read graphs. So they always say, hey, make sure you read the title and the information that goes with the title. Now this did not print through very easy at all for you. Hopefully it's much clearer on your worksheet that you're working on. It says over 1 million species of animals have been identified. Out of all these, only about 42,000 species are vertebrates. You already know that that means an animal with a backbone. The circle graph shows the breakdown of the numbers of species in each class of vertebrates. Here comes question number 1. Which class of vertebrate has the most species? In other words, which one takes up the biggest piece of that pie? And the answer you can see typed there is 48%, and that goes along with fish. Number 2, about how many species of mammals have been identified? Now guys, they asked me how many species. So I have 10% of mammals, but there are, on the top of your page up here, 42,000 species. So the question is, what is 10% of 42,000? I divide, when I'm doing percent, I cross off a 0. So my answer is 4,200 mammals have been identified. Number 3, are there more reptile species or amphibians? Reptiles, 15%. Amphibians, 6%. Well, that means reptiles, more. Which of the following numbers is the best estimate for the number of bird species? So I take my percentage of birds and I multiply it by my 42,000. And when I do the math with that, guys, I just took the 2 and I multiplied it by 42 and I got 84. Gotta be this one. 8,700. So you can write that answer here, or you can just circle that number to get your answer. Okay, math and science, what they're trying to say, guys, is when you're a science major, you are going to be using a lot of math to be able to get through that, and they always have you practice that at the end of each chapter. Because we're at the end of the chapter, that means tomorrow will be a test. Best of luck with your test. I'll just give you a few instructions with that. The test has 3 pages of multiple choice and then 1 page of short answer. Make sure you write complete sentences on your short answer, or at least complete thoughts, guys. In other words, make sure you don't skimp. Write enough. The last question is worth 4 points, and it says write your answer on a different piece of paper. You certainly do not need to do that. Just write your answer right at the bottom. Get it all on that test. You'll be able to understand that when you see your test. Happy Thursday.